Yo, what's up, and welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Know the Game. I believe this is episode number 5. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. This episode will mainly be hosted by the Space Jam characters, Bugs Bunny, and to be honest, I have no idea who the heck that is. Um, but yeah, welcome back to another episode of Know the Game. Uh, we took a little break. I went on vacation, and we tried to film one, but I don't know, the video just didn't work and it was laggy. So, in today's episode of Know the Game, we're going to go over the Game 6 preview between the Suns and the Bucks in the NBA Finals. The Bucks are one win away from being crowned champions. We'll go over some trade rumors, including, well, not just trade rumors, NBA offseason rumors that include Lonzo Ball possibly returning to the Lakers or heading to Chicago. The Utah Jazz may shake things up for a major upgrade. We'll talk about the MLB Trade Deadline is coming up, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. Also, talk about uh, two MLB prospects. One of them has made their debut, and the other one, as the recording of this, has not, but will make their debut tonight. We'll also go over the MLB's top 10 players from the start of the season. We will adjust that list uh, based on now. It won't just be the top 10 players of the season. It'll just be the top 10 players that includes this season and fixing their list. And then in the NFL, we will go over Aaron Rodgers turned down a contract extension that would have made him the highest paid, not only cornerback, but player in the game of football. A young, promising second-year running back tore his Achilles and is out for the season. Talk about that. And then finally, we'll end it off with our top 10 teams, top 10 NFL teams in the 2021 season. So let's get things started here.
So, today is going to be the Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Bucks are one win away from winning their first NBA championship in a very long time. The Suns, they have been really, not been doing great these past couple games. They were up 2-0 and now they're down 3-2. So, I mean, Giannis and Chris Middleton are really holding it down for the Bucks, and they're playing really good basketball.
I mean, yeah, obviously they're up 3 games to 2. They've won 3 straight games, so they're playing phenomenal basketball. Giannis has just been doing his thing. Chris Middleton's been amazing. All the guys for the Bucks have been amazing in the past 3 games after losing the first 2 in Phoenix. This is a very big game. Obviously, if they win this game, they win the finals, and if they lose it, well, then there's a game 7, which would be pretty sick. But this is a big game not only for the Bucks but for the Suns. They've lost 3 straight games, and they have not played particularly well in any of the games. In Game 5, Booker dropped 40 points. Chris Paul had 21, and Ayton had 20. So that was the best game they've played since Game 2. In Game 3 and Game 4, Paul had 10 points and Booker had 10 points, so they were off. And Ayton hasn't been good. So now it just comes down to this game here to decide what will happen.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Bucks are home. I could be wrong. They're home.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bucks are home. If they win, they had home court advantage. So basically, what that means is that the fans aren't going to be counting down Giannis's free throw. Like, they're not going to be counting down the numbers, because usually he takes about 10 seconds, I'd say, to shoot a free throw, which is pretty long. But all in all, Giannis and Chris Middleton, it's going to be hard to see if the Bucks win today. It's going to be hard to choose who will be the MVP. A lot of people say Chris Middleton. A lot of people say Giannis. But Connor, who do you have win MVP for the Bucks if they win today?
This is tough because, I think the argument is definitely valid for Chris Middleton. He's been the number one option late in games for the team, and he's hit so many clutch shots. I think it's going to go to Giannis for a few reasons. One, it's Giannis, the name Giannis. But also, he's had multiple 40-point games. He's just been all around the best player pretty much on the court in each given game, win or lose. So I think it's going to him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean Giannis. I'm gonna take Giannis too. He has scored 99 points in 3 games. I mean that is crazy. He's scored back to back 40-point games. He's been the front runner for MVP for the Bucks these whole playoffs. He's been the best player for on the Bucks this whole season and this whole playoffs. He was the only one that was playing like himself in the first 2 games of the series, and he was one who motivated his teammates to get on track and win the next 3 games, and hopefully win the fourth to make them the NBA champions today.
Yeah. What the thing for, like, let's say the Suns win and who would be the Finals MVP? I wonder if it would still go to a Bucks player because it doesn't have to go to the winner; it goes to the best player. I wonder if they would be crazy enough to give it to a Bucks player even if the Suns win the finals, bro. Because I
Bro,
don't
that
know who it'd go
hasn't
to.
happened since Jerry West.
So that's been a really long time. I wonder though, who would you pick on the Suns to win Finals MVP?
Devin Booker. He's been the most. He's been the best player for the Suns these playoffs. I mean, he scored what 42 points on a losing game.
Yeah,
I mean, Chris Paul. He's good. He's one of the best point guards of all time. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't shown up when it counts. He put up 10 points like a couple games ago.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, you just can't have that happening to your one of your best players, if not the best player on your team. Another player that does come up to mind would be like maybe DeAndre Ayton because he's been a really reliable player for the Bucks. Putting up boards in key moments, putting up a decent amount of points. He's averaging what like 15, like 16, 17 boards a game. But I mean, Devin Booker is the main reason why the Bucks may be still in this.
yeah. I just had like a really bad connection problem, but DeAndre Ayton definitely is valid. The whole postseason, he's been amazing. Getting boards and being that third option that is definitely needed. Um, I do think Devin Booker, though, if the Suns win, will be Finals MVP. Even though Chris Paul, everybody is glad and happy that he may win his first Finals, his first ring. I think Booker's deserving, and Ayton is there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a really nice thing to see Chris Paul win his first NBA championship along with Devin Booker. But I mean, it would also be awesome to see Giannis win. So I mean, I'm kind of rooting for both teams here because I'd love to see both of these guys or all three of those guys win NBA championships. But next up, we have another offseason rumor that is Lonzo Ball may go to the Lakers again after being traded to the Lakers in like 2020 offseason. So yeah, for Anthony Davis along with Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart. Um, I don't know. I really don't know if the Lakers can pull this off.
I think it would be a good addition. I think the first run Lonzo had in LA was not the best, but it wasn't the worst. He had a lot of pressure, and the spotlight was on him from day one. And he was not a good shooter then. He only shot 30% from three in his first season, improving that to 37% this past season in New Orleans. He's an above average 3-point shooter now, one of the best passers and playmakers in basketball. So, I think, and he's a great defender as well. People always forget about that. So I think adding him to the Lakers, he is a restricted free agent. So it's going to be interesting to see how exactly he'd end up on the Lakers. But I think reacquiring him would be a nice trio to pair in Los Angeles.
Lonzo Ball put up a nice 14 points a game 14.6 points a game this last season. Like you said, he's a really good passer and putting up 5.7 assists per game. Um, with the Lakers having Dennis Schroeder, they got Dennis Schroeder. They're looking actually to trade Dennis Schroeder. They're trying to sign him and then trade him. But Alonzo Ball, I mean, he'd be a really good fit for the Lakers. I'd love to see him back in a Lakers uniform because I was so happy when they drafted him. I actually have Alonzo Ball jersey,
Yeah, I used to have
but
one too.
yeah, you gave it to me. But
I did.
yeah, you gave me your black one, and I have a
Oh,
yellow one. But Lonzo Ball. The thing about the Lakers is that they don't have any salary cap, so they have to trade for all the dudes that they want, which is why they're trying to trade for trade away Dennis Schroeder and Kyle Kuzma. So it'd be really hard for Lonzo Ball for Lakers to acquire Lonzo Ball.
yeah, but the good thing is that they have guys on their roster that are signed. Like Kuzma's making like money that's easy to trade, even though his trade value probably sucks. KCP's under contract, and then they're trying to try and trade Dennis Schroeder. So the Lakers definitely have avenues to get better. It's just really hard for them to do so with two max contract players. Um, but yeah, I really would like Lonzo to be a Laker. And then I've also heard things like he may be going to Chicago. That's been talked about since like the trade deadline of him being a Chicago Bull. I think that'd be an interesting fit. You know, the Bulls are trying to win now, but for the Lakers at least, championship mode, I think adding Lonzo back would be a good thing.
Next up we got the Utah Jazz. They're open up trade talks for Joe Ingles and Bogdanovich. I think that's how you say his first name. There's like a lot of Bogdanoviches and they all sound the same, the first name. They're looking to trade like both of them for a significant upgrade. Uh, Joe Ingles is one of the best players in all basketball right now. Just kidding. He's like one of the most liked and lovable players in basketball right now. He's a really good shooter. He's a really good shot creator. Bogdan is also a really good shooter. I mean, they had a lot of success with the Jazz, but I don't know who they could possibly get for them.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Boyan's under contract. He makes a pretty good chunk of change. But he put up 17 points last season, and he did shoot a solid 39% from three, and he shot 40% or higher in 3 other years in his career. So he's a great 3-point shooter, great scorer. He can play the small forward or power forward positions. And then Joe Ingles, I think he's 35, and he's one of the best 3-point shooters in basketball. The interesting thing is those are two really good 3-point shooters. So if you're the Jazz, like they built their team on defense and threes last season. Um, you're going to get rid of two significant shooters and some solid defenders as well. So, and they want a significant upgrade. I don't know what you can really get, what kind of value Ingles and Bogdanovich really have to other teams. You know, you're not going to get an all-star player for them. I don't think.
Like like you said, they're significant 3-point shooters. It'd be really nice to for a team to acquire both of them or even one of them. Um,
Mhm.
but the Jazz, they had a lot of trouble in the playoffs against the Clippers. Um, that they could. I don't think they should trade away both of them. Maybe one of them, but not both of them, because you need 3-point shooters in the game now because it came to it's now a 3-point shooting game,
Yeah.
so you need 3-point shooters to win basketball games now. But next up, we're gonna talk about me and Connor are talking about Damian Lillard trade talks. Damian Lillard has been the talk about basketball recently, the last week or two. People are saying, is he gonna get traded? Is he not gonna get traded? Uh, are they gonna sign him to a massive extension deal? Um, Damian Lillard put up 28.8 points a game last year, 7.5 assists. That is crazy right there. Like that package right there, 28 points and 7 assists. That is crazy. I know that the Knicks are a possible the front runner for to acquire Damian Lillard. There's been reports about him saying that he does want out, and then him saying that he never said that.
Yeah.
But Damian Lillard could be a really good. I think honestly, I think he could be a really good fit for the Knicks after losing in the playoffs against the Hawks or against Trae Young. I should say. They got Derrick Rose at the trade deadline last year. They could. I mean, they really could use another shooter like Damian Lillard.
Yeah, they need perimeter scoring, which is literally Damian Lillard, perimeter player who scores the ball. And obviously, the Knicks were really good last season, so people are going to want to play there again if they're a good team. They have a lot of salary cap space. I think the most in the NBA this offseason. And it's New York, and it's Madison Square Garden, and it's the Knicks. They've never been good in my lifetime, but they're getting good again. So maybe people are going to want to play there. The Knicks would be a good fit for Lillard. I've also heard and seen trade trade proposals, I guess you'd say, for him going to the Warriors. It would be a package of Andrew Wiggins, who matches salary wise, James Wiseman, and their 2 first-round picks in this year's draft, which is 14-8 or 14-9, one of the two. And that would be a really good trade for both sides. The Blazers would get a lot of value out of Lillard, a young, promising big man in Wiseman, and 2 first-round picks. And then obviously the Warriors would have the 2 best point guards in basketball, and then also Klay Thompson back healthy. So wherever Damian Lillard goes, whether it's the Knicks, the Warriors, another team, or even stays in Portland, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be crazy to see what happens to him.
Damian Lillard is one of the best players in basketball. He is not just a perimeter shooter. He is a logo shooter. Logo Lillard. He is one of the best 3-point shooters. He has the most like extended range in basketball. It I would love to see what the Trailblazers decide to do this offseason for Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
But I mean, pretty much all NBA right there. We just talked about all the NBA that needed to be said. But we're gonna move on to the MLB. Um, trade deadline is upon us at the end of this month. So like 11 days. Trade deadline is in 11 days, which means there's gonna be a lot of rumors, and that's what we have for you guys right now. We got some MLB trade rumors. First up, we got Max Scherzer. I've seen a lot of talks. He's gonna be a free agent after the season. I've seen a lot of talks, like the Astros, the Dodgers, a lot of teams. The main one I've been seeing recently is the Astros. Max Scherzer is one of the best pitchers of our generation. He
Oh yeah.
is putting up a 2.83 ERA. That's really good. He has 142 strikeouts. Uh, you know, he has a 7-4 record. I mean, records don't really matter. Like it's not an individual stat. Um, but he has a 2.83 ERA. Means he gives up about 2 runs a game, 2 to 3 runs a game. The Astros are a team that will make the playoffs this season and
Yeah.
are looking to have that final push towards the playoffs. And acquiring Max Scherzer will pretty much do that for them.
Yeah, they are missing Justin Verlander, probably the ace of the pitching staff. Lance McCullers, I believe, went down with an injury just recently, and then they're really just relying on Zach Greinke, who throws like an 85-mile-an-hour fastball. He's still good, but he's not the ace you want in a playoff game. Max Scherzer, like you said, is one of the best pitchers of this generation. Multiple time Cy Young winner in both the American and National League. Um, World Series champion, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season. The Nationals, they don't really seem to be in contention anymore this season. So I think it's smart for them to move on and trade him away. And like you said, the Astros would be a really good fit. They're going to make the playoffs, and you can never have too much pitching. Never can, especially when you're trying to make the playoffs. And he would just be a really, really good addition for them.
You know, another team. I said this right next to the Astros, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are like the front runner for a lot of uh, pitching players that are looking to be traded. I mean, they have guys like Clayton Kershaw out right now, Justin May out for the season, and Trevor Bauer gone for however long he's going to be gone for. The Dodgers are going to make the playoffs. Their starters right now are looking like Tony Gonsolin, Julio Urias, and like David Price. And when Clayton Kershaw gets back, he'll be there. And then it's a bullpen game after that. So that's not that you don't really want that, you know. And Tony Gonsolin and David Price are supposed to be in the bullpen too. So yeah, they're good for starting pitchers, but Max Scherzer could be a nice addition for that injured Dodgers rotation.
Yeah.
But another rumor that we have is Starling Marte. Starling Marte is a really good hitter for the Miami Marlins. He's batting 290 this year and has 7 home runs. That's a decent amount, and has 22 RBIs. He has a 391 on base rate, like a whole 100 more than his average. And the top team really is the San Francisco Giants. The San Francisco Giants are leading the division right now, leading the NL West right now, leading like basically all in baseball. I'm pretty sure in wins. Uh, you know, the one of the most surprising team this season in baseball. They need to make that final push to possibly win the World Series this year. And Tyler Marte could be a great addition for that uh, Giants team.
Yeah, not only the Giants would be a great fit, but also rumors or reports have been that the Astros, once again, the Yankees, and even the Phillies. Um, I don't think it ever came out. It was probably another episode that went down. But we talked about Byron Buxton possibly on the move to the Phillies as a possible team. So the Phillies are looking for outfield help, but the Giants, like you said, most surprising team in baseball. Um, they could probably use another piece. They're an interesting team, uh, and if they want to make that push, yeah, they definitely are going to need to make a move. His stats wise, they don't jump off, but he has 19 stolen bases, so he's going to be a base stealing threat. He gets on base 391, like you said, that's his career high so far, and he has a 131 OPS plus, which is 31 points above league average. So overall, he's just a really great player. He's really good. Just the type of player you want on a team that could make a run. And whether it's the Giants, Astros, Yankees, Phillies, or another team that needs an outfielder, he's like one of the perfect guys to add. And you only have to pay him half of a season salary, so like $5 million. And then he's a free agent, so you can let him walk or try and bring him back.
The next player, we have a player that was just in the home run derby, and that is Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo. This is a pretty interesting one. He's rumored to go to the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees may not even make a play aren't going to make a playoffs, I should say. They may not even make playoffs, And the Yankees, I don't really see why they would choose to get Joey Gallo. He's a free agent, and they said that they need some outfield help. They have guys like Aaron Judge. Joey Gallo is having a pretty great year with 24 home runs. That is really good, but he has a 233 batting average, and he has an on base percentage of 391, just like Starling Marte. I mean, he has a really low batting average, but he gets on base on an exceeding rate.
Yeah, well, Joey Gallo has this season and then a year arbitration. Then he's a free agent. So you get him for another year. The Yankees would be an interesting fit. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. I don't see that happening. They're just too bad. But adding a lefty power bat who is one of the best defenders in right field in baseball, the strongest arm probably in baseball too. in Yankee Stadium would be a good fit. Where exactly, he would play right field, so that means Aaron Judge would probably move to center or left field. Um, but yeah, I've also seen the Padres possibly going after Joey Gallo. They are reportedly saying they will go over the luxury tax, I think it is, to acquire talent at the deadline. So a Joey Gallo to the Padres would be very interesting to see. Uh, it You have to see what the price point is going to be for Joey Gallo because the Padres don't want to trade not Xavier Edwards, C.J. Abrams or Mackenzie Gore, their two top prospects. But the Padres system's loaded, and the Yankees would be a nice fit just because they need a lefty power bat as well.
The next rumor, we have Chris Bryant. We talked about him in an episode that didn't go up. Chris Bryant moving over to the Mets. The Mets are a team. J.D. Davis injured at third base. Chris Bryant is a man that can play third base, first base, and outfield. He's a really strong arm. He's batting 265. He was an all-star. Batting 265, 16 home runs, on base percentage of 345, 48 RBIs, slugging 490, OPS of 835, OPS plus of 127.
I mean, he's having a phenomenal season. The past two seasons, he has not been good. He's been on the decline, and people were saying, when are we ever going to see Chris Bryant like the MVP and Rookie of the Year he used to be? This season, he's been phenomenal. An all-star, one of the best players, third baseman, utility players in the game. He can play like every position on the diamond, but pitcher and catcher. But he could probably play those if you asked him to. He's just that gifted on the baseball field. And the Mets, they made splashes this offseason. Francisco Lindor they acquired and then signed him to a fat extension. James McCann, Trevor May, Carlos Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, and they could use, Chris Bryant. They're trying to win that NL East division. Even though he's going to be a free agent at the end of the season, they will most definitely pay him. The new ownership group will definitely pay a guy like Chris Bryant. And that infield in the future would be really nice with Chris Bryant and Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso. That is a really good infield right there.
Well, I don't have any rumors, but do you have any more rumors that you'd possibly want to say?
No, we just have the same ones down. The only other stuff before we get to our top 10 players is two top prospects, both in Los Angeles, one of them has made their MLB debut already, and the other one is about to. Josiah Gray of the Dodgers, I believe he's their top pitching prospect.
Yes.
He is making his MLB debut on Tuesday for the Dodgers. They're in desperate today, which is today. The Dodgers are in desperate need of pitching. Gavin mentioned earlier they are missing Trevor Bauer due to off the field issues. Clayton Kershaw's on the IL. Dustin May out for the season with Tommy John. So they need pitching, and Josiah Gray should be able to step in there and just fill a small void.
Josiah Gray has been injured for a pretty decent amount of time for the Dodgers and their AAA team. He has a 2.87 ERA, which is really good. There's only two strikeouts, but then he has been injured. He's set to make his MLB debut today against the Giants, which is this is a key series for the Dodgers. They're 2 games behind. They were 1 game behind yesterday, but lost. So now they're 2 games behind, and they need to win these next 2 games. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-game series to make it a tie. A tie for first place. And Josiah, I think the Dodgers, are in desperate need of some starting pitcher help, and Josiah Gray can, make that happen for the Dodgers.
Yeah, one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, and should be able to provide what the Dodgers are missing, and that is just innings to eat up and being a good starting pitcher. Another top prospect for the Angels, who, sorry, I just got distracted. He made his MLB debut on Sunday against the Mariners. His name is Brandon Marsh, the top Angels prospect. I think he was ranked number 39th in baseball. He made his MLB debut. He went 0 for 4 in his first game, but then last night on Monday against the Oakland A's, he had a performance where he went 3 for 3, a double, a single, and an RBI double. So a great start for him in his career. One of the top prospects, like I said, in baseball and for the for the Angels, and that outfield prospect for the Angels looks really good for the future.
I mean, Brandon Marsh. I mean, I've told Connor this a million times. I need to start calling this man Jesus because of his long hair and his long beard. Like, it is freaking crazy. How old is this guy? Because he should not have that long of a beard.
I think he's 22 or 23.
That is the longest beard. He hadn't, like, he must have never got that beard in his life. But next up, me and Connor are, the top, the MLB at the start of the season, like they do it like pretty much every year. They gave out their top 100, and basically what that means they put out their top 100 players of the MLB season going into the season. But I'm just gonna do a quick recap of their top 10 because me and Connor are gonna redo our top 10. So number 10, they had who was it? Cody Bellinger. They had Cody Bellinger of my Los Angeles Dodgers. He was MVP in 2019. Really good. Christian Yelich, number 9. Anthony Rendon, number 8. Ronald Acuna Jr., 7. Fernando Tatis Jr., number 6. Juan Soto, number 5. Freddie Freeman, number 4. Jacob DeGrom, number 3. And Mookie Betts, number 2. And Mike Trout, number 1. But now me and Connor are going to give out our top 10. So I want to start this off right here. I'll give up my number 10, and I'm gonna do the guy that was pretty bad start of the season, but has picked it up. And I'm only moving him. I'm only putting him this high on the list because he was the number 2 spot, and then it's Mookie Betts. I'm gonna put him right here, number 10. He's on your fantasy team. He has been really bad for the Dodgers start of the season, but recently has been picking up. He's batting 270, I'm pretty sure, and he has like 14 home runs. So that's why he's my number 10.
My number 10, I think he's the highest ranked third baseman on my list. I have Nolan Arenado of the Cardinals. 17 bombs, 258 average, which is not the best, but 17 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 311 on base. So, he's been regarded as one of the best third basemen in baseball, and I think he's continuing to show that this season. Number 10 for me.
My number 9 is pretty much a breakout player this year. That is Kevin Gausman of the San Francisco Giants. He's my number 9. He's putting up a 1.84 ERA. One of the best pitchers in baseball right now. He made the All-Star game this year. His first All-Star appearance. He's been a really, really good player for the Giants this year.
My number 9 is your number 10. I have Mookie Betts of the Dodgers. A really slow start to the season, but has picked it up as of late. All-Star this year, 14 home runs, 270 average. Even though he had a down year to start, he's picking it up, and he's still one of the top 10 players in baseball.
My number 8 is an All-Star, and that is Aaron Judge. He's been really one of the best. He's been the best player for the Yankees this year on a struggling Yankees team. He's been the only bright spot. He's batting 282. He's putting up a casual 21 home runs for Aaron Judge, and he's my number 8.
My number 8, I have Garrett Cole of the Yankees, having a 10-4 record on the season with a 2.63 ERA. Earlier in the season, before the sticky substance crackdown, he was elite. And a few starts after that, the rules got implemented again, I guess. He had a really rough stretch of just bad starts, but has continued to shine as of late and has just showed why he is a top pitcher in baseball.
My number 7 is another Dodger, and that is Max Muncy. Max Muncy leads the league in on-base runs, I'm pretty sure. He's batting 275. He has 22 home runs, 58 RBIs. Max Muncy has been one of the best. He's been the best player on the Dodgers this year. He made an All-Star game, was an All-Star starter. He was the DH after getting snubbed by Freddie Freeman for first base. Uh, he hits bombs. Like every single home run that he hits is a no doubter. He owns the Giants. So my number 7 is Max Muncy.
My number 7, I got Juan Soto, the Nats, batting 301 with 16 bombs. He was injured to start earlier in the season, but I mean, when he's healthy, he's amazing. Leading the league in walks, the National League, also leading the league in on base percentage at 420. He is just elite at getting on base and getting hits. Not good defensively, but it doesn't matter when you can hit the ball like Juan Soto.
My number 6 is a pitcher for the New York Yankees, and that is Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was one of the best pitchers in baseball before the sticky substance change. He had one bad start after that, and then picked it up. He has a 2.63 ERA. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, with or without sticky substances. He's shown that his last 1 2 starts. So he's my number 6.
My number 6, I have a MVP candidate in the American League this year. I have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading the league in batting average at 328, as well as on-base percentage, OPS, OPS plus, total bases, RBIs, runs scored. He has 31 home runs, which is second in baseball. He has just improved amazing. He's an all-star this season, all-star MVP. He has just been all around this season for the Blue Jays, been the best player on the team and one of the best players in baseball.
Number 5 is a player that tore his ACL, sadly, for the Atlanta Braves. That is Ronald Acuna Jr. He before the injury, he was one of the best players in baseball. He was probably MVP frontrunner for the National League. He was an All-Star. He had 24 home runs, 52 RBIs, is batting 283. He's one of the best players in baseball before he got that nasty ACL injury. Very sad to see him gone and out for the rest of the season, but he's my number 5.
My number 5 is the two-way Japanese import Shohei Ohtani. He, hitting-wise, has 34 home runs, leading the league in that department with a 277 batting average, as well as leading the league in slugging percentage. And then pitching-wise, he has a 3.21 ERA this season with a nice 95 strikeouts. So on both sides of the ball, it's been said many, many times, and you really can't say it enough. He's been dominant at the plate and on the mound.
My number 5, my number 4 is one of the best pitcher this year, and that is Jacob deGrom. He's arguably the best pitcher in baseball right now. He has a 1.08 ERA. Just got over 1 the past couple starts, but I mean he was an All-Star. He decided to not be in the All-Star game to stay with family. But Jacob deGrom had a below 1 ERA for the longest time until 2 or 3 starts ago, where he finally got that ERA up above 1.
My number 4, I have the best shortstop in baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. In 77 games, he has 28 home runs, which leads the National League, as well as 22 stolen bases, which leads the National League. He also leads in slugging, OPS, OPS plus. So he's just amazing. All-star this season. Best shortstop in baseball. That's my number 4.
My number 3 is Fernando Tatis Jr. He's probably the best shortstop in baseball right now. He's batting 291, 28 home runs, 64 RBIs. I mean, he really good hitter, but he's not a very good defender. He pretty sure he leads the league in errors. But all in all, that's why he's a really good hitter, and that's why he's number 3.
My number 3, I have Ronald Acuna Jr., who, like you said, went down with a ACL injury, which is really, really sad to see. But he had 24 home runs with 17 stolen bases, hitting 283, was an all-star selection this season. I feel like if he was able to play the full season, he may have been in the conversation for National League MVP. But even with missing time this season, I have him as my number 3.
My number 2 is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He leads the league he leads the league in batting average. That's what I'm trying to say. Batting average. He is on pace. If Shohei hopefully doesn't, stop hitting home runs, he's most likely going to win the Triple Crown. But he's my number 2 right there, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
My number 2, I have the best pitcher in baseball, Jacob deGrom, 1.08 ERA, which is extremely good, 7-2 record. He has 146 strikeouts so far this season, which is incredible, and just literally the best pitcher in baseball. There's nothing else really you can say except that.
Well, my number 1 is an Angels player, and that is Anthony Rendon. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's actually Mike Trout. Just kidding. It's actually Shohei Ohtani. Don't have Mike Trout on this list because he's injured. He's been injured this year. But Shohei Ohtani is my number 1. He's putting up 34 home runs. And what position does he play again? Oh yeah, pitcher. He is a pitcher, and he hits 34 home runs. He's batting 277. I can't see his pitching stats right now, but he's really good at pitching for the Angels. He's the best hitter and pitcher for the Angels this year. That's great.
My number 1, I have Angels center fielder Mike Trout. I know he's been hurt this season, but he had 8 home runs and a 333 batting average. But just besides that, going to go down as the greatest player of all time, is been the best outfielder, best player in baseball, basically his entire career. And even with the injury, he still continues, in my opinion, to be the number 1 player. I just noticed, I feel like we did our list differently. I feel like you did your list on top 2 players this season, and I did my list on top players, including this season and other seasons, which is fine. I mean, neither of us did it right or wrong. So, but yeah.
Well, moving on from the MLB section is the NFL section. The first thing up is we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. He turned down a really crazy thing. He turned down a contract extension, which would have made him the highest paid player in football. He was MVP last year with 4,299 yards and 48 touchdowns. Arguably the best player, the best quarterback, because he won the MVP. Everybody knows that he wants out of Green Bay, which is nobody understands why, but it's pretty crazy that he turned down that deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. He doesn't want to be there, so it shows that it's not about the money, which is why he doesn't want to be there. Like, if it was about the money, he would have probably signed this deal. It's obviously about the other things that have happened, in the past. Obviously, trading up to draft a quarterback without telling him kind of set the mood. I don't think losing in the past 2 NFC Championship games has much to do with it, but it may. But I think it's just the fact that the Packers management has not done what it appears to be enough to take the Packers to the Super Bowl and surround Aaron Rodgers with enough talent. Like, obviously he has the best receiver in football, a top 10 running back, and good guys on defense, but they haven't drafted an offensive weapon in a long time in the first round. And Aaron Rodgers just had enough. So obviously, being the highest paid player in football would be great, but he doesn't want to be there, so he will try and take his talents somewhere else. I think it's gonna be next season though.
I mean, they went out and said that they don't want to trade him. Um, maybe he wants to sit out this whole season. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wants to play. But you know, I really can't see Aaron Rodgers in a different uniform. It'd be really weird to see
Oh
him in like a let's say like an Eagles uniform. That'd be so weird to see him in that.
yeah,
But I mean, it's really disgusting. I can't even think about that. But next up, a very sad, very sad, very sad. A going into his second year, a running back for the Los Angeles Rams, Cam Akers, torn his Achilles. Basically, that means he said he's not going to be playing this next season. He was super good his rookie season, 625 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he was really good. For his rookie season, nobody really expected him to be this good or that good of a running back. He was a Todd Gurley replacement after they let him go, and he signed with the Falcons. But very sad to see Cam Akers tearing his Achilles.
yeah. He was on my fantasy football team last season. The first few weeks of his NFL career was really struggling. He was just not good, but he was a rookie trying to adjust to the NFL. But throughout the season, he definitely improved. 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's not a lot, but he's a rookie, so it is what it is. But he performed really good, and he was going to be the bright spot for the Rams running back room and a major part of that offense this season. It really sucks that they're going to lose him and that he's going to miss this season. It really, really stinks, man.
I've got a signing. Not much to talk about here, but just a headline. Melvin Ingram signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense is amazing. They went on that 11-0 run with the help of T.J. Watt. Melvin Ingram only played 7 games last year. He didn't have a single sack. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been really good for the Chargers basically his whole entire career. He can be really, really good help for that Chargers defense line.
Yeah, I mean, he played really not good last season. I think it was like 7 games and he had no sacks. Obviously, he probably got injured last season, but he's older, but I think he can still be impactful. He won't get many snaps probably. He won't play every down for the Steelers, but he will be there when they need him. Gonna join an amazing, amazing defense, and it's just depth, I guess, for them.
Yeah, I mean, next up, me and Connor are going to do our last thing, and that is do the top 10 teams of the NFL going into this season. So, Connor, I'll let you lead off with number 10.
This one was crazy. I cannot believe this team made my top 10, but I'm gonna do it just based on the talent they have and hope that this season is the year they finally put it together. I have the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense, horrible last season. Absolutely atrocious. Their secondary was a problem. They didn't address. They obviously Gavin. He wanted. I think it was Patrick Surtain. He wanted in the draft. They took Micah Parsons, a linebacker. But I'm putting this basically based on the offensive talent of Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, putting it on that, and hopefully more improvement from the offensive line and improvement from Mike McCarthy in his second year. So surprisingly, I put the Cowboys in my number 10.
I'm a Cowboys fan. You're going to see it because I'm wearing a Dak Prescott jersey. That is the most surprising thing I've heard in my life. But my number 10 is another surprising team, actually. But they have a lot of talent, and that's actually going to be the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts picked up possibly the quarterback of the future, maybe, possibly. That is Carson Wentz for a second-round pick, and a second-round pick that can turn into a first. They needed a quarterback badly after Philip Rivers retiring. They have uh, Michael Pittman, there was a rookie receiver out of USC, has a lot of potential. Has Jonathan Taylor, he was a rookie last year, going to his second year now. arguably the best rookie running back last year with, maybe Josh Dobbins or there's Josh Dobbs and what's his name? Cam Akers, arguably in that conversation. But, they have really good offense, and that's why they're ranked 10.
My number 9, I have the Baltimore Ravens. They have one of the best quarterback, running back players in football in Lamar Jackson. He's steadily improved as a passer. They acquired Sammy Watkins, and I think it was KJ Ham. They acquired someone in the draft. It was not KJ Hamler because they think he plays for the Broncos, but they acquired another receiver in the draft. Um, and that defense is good. I like that defense. They got one of the best coaches in the league, and with Lamar Jackson, you're gonna be a good team.
My number 9, we talked about uh, them signing somebody. That is a Pittsburgh Steelers. They're my number 9. They went an 11-0 run. Pretty crazy. They just signed Melvin Ingram. Um, they have guys like Ben Roethlisberger that slowly declining. He's declining as a quarterback, but hopefully, he can get back on pace. He says he loves his new diet, which is probably one Big Mac instead of 3. But yeah, the Steelers are a really good team in general. That's why they were number 9.
My number 8, I have a team that has a championship defense built, and it's the Indianapolis Colts. They have DeForest Buckner on that defense. They have oh my gosh, what the heck is his name? Another dude on that defense, and I'm forgetting his name. But they also acquired Carson Wentz. They, like Gavin said, a second round pick that can turn into a first. So not a whole lot to give up for Carson Wentz, who has played amazing in the past, recently in Philadelphia, not able to get it done. Maybe you change the scenery, you'll do that. A nice, promising young receiver in Pittman Jr., as well as T.Y. Hilton. See if he can continue to just be a really good receiver in the National Football League. And they have a really, really, really good running back in Jonathan Taylor. So the Colts are bound for success. That's my number 8.
My number 8, uh, is a player that had a rookie quarterback or a team that had a rookie quarterback last year, and as the Los Angeles Chargers, they have really phenomenal offense, really phenomenal defense. Hopefully, they get Derwin James back there healthy, actually playing games, and Joey Bosa back there. They got guys that coming off rookie seasons like Justin Herbert, one of the most, or probably the most surprising player coming out of the draft. But they're my number 8.
Okay, the name I was thinking of was Darius Leonard.
My number 7, I have the San Francisco 49ers, another team with one of the best defenses in football. This just got an idea. We should do a top 10 defenses in our next episode. Anyways, the Niners, a lot of injuries last season. A lot of injuries to key players, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of guys missed time for them, but they have one of the best coaches, and they made the Super Bowl just 2 years ago. So I think staying healthy and more improvement just all around, they are my number 7.
My number 7 is a team that tried to offer a dude a max or a really big contract, and is the Green Bay Packers. I have the Green Bay Packers here this low only because of reasons that are quite obvious, and that is Aaron Rodgers might leave this team. They might get rid of him. Probably not going to happen this year, but they have best receiver in the NFL, arguably one of the best corners in the NFL, and Devontae Adams and Jair Alexander. Really good defense right there, and so that's my number 7.
My number 6 is another team from the NFC West. They acquired a quarterback. I have the Los Angeles Rams, a really good offensive coach. They acquired Matthew Stafford, huge upgrade from Jared Goff. They have Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. They obviously lost Cam Akers, but defensively, they had the best defense in football last season with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey at the helm. So I think they'll definitely be a contender for the Super Bowl. That is my number 6.
Number 6 is the San Francisco 49ers. They had so much injury trouble last year. It was quite crazy. They got Trey Lance in the draft. They got guys coming out of injury house from Nick Bosa, and they got guys like George Kittle back there, or up there at a tight end, arguably the best tight end in the whole NFL. They got young receivers like Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. Possibly Trey Lance could be good if Jimmy Garoppolo are injured or bad. They start Trey Lance over him, and hopefully Trey Lance can be a really good addition for that San Francisco 49ers offense.
My number 5, it would be crazy to put this team in the top 20 3 seasons ago. I have the Cleveland Browns. They made it to the AFC Championship game last season against the Chiefs, ultimately lost. However, that team is bound for success. They're going to get Odell Beckham Jr. back, as well as Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Baker Mayfield, Austin Hooper, and then on defense, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. So this team is just really, really good. A lot of talent. A really good coach in I think it's Mike Shrish. No, that's not. I don't know. A really good coach. So the Browns, number 5.
My number 4, number 5 is going to be a team that was really good last year, and that is the Buffalo Bills. They had guys like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. They got their coach like Sean McDermott back there at one of the best coaches in football right now. Their defense, pretty decent defense, but their offense, oh my gosh, their offense, keeps up for their lack on defense. Stephon Diggs led the league in touchdowns, receptions, and yards, and Josh Allen having a breakout year last year, and they're my number 5.
My number 4, it really depends on the Aaron Rodgers situation. I have the Packers. Made it to the last 2 NFC Championship games, lost both of them, but best receiver in football, one of the best coaches, one of the best quarterbacks in football. If he plays this season, obviously, if Jordan Love is a starter, this team is near the bottom. But going with the idea that Aaron Rodgers will play, he has the Packers at 4.
My number 4, you said you would be surprised to have him in the top 20 like 4 or 5 years ago. I'd say it would be surprised to have him 31 or higher. That is the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns really had one of the best comeback stories in all of football. It went from 115, 0-16, and making a playoff and winning the playoffs, having a playoff victory, making it to the AFC Championship. They got a young quarterback in Baker Mayfield, a lot of potential there. OBJ coming back from injury. Jarvis Landry back there with OBJ. Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, the addition of Javion Clowney, Denzel Ward. They have so much good players on their team not to win a Super Bowl, which is, pretty crazy.
My number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills, the best team in the AFC East. Excuse me. Stephon Diggs, like you said, leading the league in receptions and touchdowns last season, as well as Josh Allen, breakout quarterback, just improved each season. A really good defense, really good coach, and they're just going to keep improving because I don't really see a threat in that division. The Patriots are a weird team. The Jets suck, and the Dolphins, perhaps can be a threat. But yeah, they're my number 3. They're just really, really good.
My number 3, with the addition of a new quarterback, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles Rams got Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff and a couple picks. They always seem to give up their first-round picks. They had the best defense last year, statistic-wise. Really good offense. If Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods can stay healthy, that would be a key, right? That's going to be a key right there. Matthew Stafford, a great upgrade from Jared Goff. Wonder who's going to be the running back. Now that Cam Akers is going to be gone for the rest of the season, but they're my number 3.
My number 2, I have a team that won the Super Bowl just 2 seasons ago. I have the Kansas City Chiefs. In my opinion, from my list, they have the best quarterback in football, and Patrick Mahomes. They have probably the best offense with Tyreek Hill, as well as Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes. They just have a really, really good offense. Their defense is improving year in and year out, and Andy Reid, one of the best coaches. They have been the powerhouse of the AFC since Patrick Mahomes has played, and that's my number 2, man.
Now, our number 1 and 2 is going to be the same, but my number 2 is also the Kansas City Chiefs. One of the best, or probably the best quarterback in football right now. Signed like the biggest contract, has the biggest contract in football. Really strong arm, Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill, probably the fastest player in football. Travis Kelce, the best tight end in football. Their defense, there's a couple spots they need to fill in on defense, but they on the O line they got so many guys on the O line last year. After Patrick Mahomes basically ran for 1,000 yards running away from defenders in the Super Bowl, so they were like, "Dude, our O line is gonna be good." They got so many guys.
Number 1, reigning Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to bring back all 22 starters last season. The GOAT at quarterback, 7-time champion Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, probably one of the greatest tight ends ever. Great wide receiver room, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Defensively with Shaq Barrett, amazing. Just the best team in football.
My number 1, no surprise here, at the Philadelphia Eagles. Just kidding. I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. The really good running back core, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Great receiving core at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. One of the greatest tight ends to ever play, Rob Gronkowski. They have Devin White, Shaquille Barrett. They have so many dudes. It's freaking crazy. But they the reigning Super Bowl champions, and that is Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, that is gonna do it. I'm pretty sure for this episode. I don't know. It's kind of a weird episode. I feel like we didn't have a lot to talk about, but it's another hour-long episode as usual. So yeah, that's just gonna do it for this episode number 5 of Know the Game. Hopefully this one's able to get out. There's not a lot of internet issues, I don't think. I mean, whatever. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 5 of Know the Game here on Side 9 Sports. Stay tuned for more content, broken bats, and other future podcasts. We will see you guys next time.
So, everybody.